Look at his eyes. Oh, gracious. So I'm just going to ask for your forgiveness in advance because I will be shocked if I don't offend every single person on this call at least once tonight. And I promise you, that is not my intent. I promise you it's not. But I've avoided some stuff, and it's like I need to let it loose, and I need to make sure that you guys see some of the things that I'm seeing because I don't think people do. I just don't. So I need to get it out. So again, I found this quote: "It's impossible to please everybody, but to piss off everybody is a piece of cake." And that again, that's not what I'm trying to do. If you're soft skinned, if I mean, some of you probably should not even watch this. And but again, I'm apologizing in advance because I want you to hear it for what I'm trying to communicate. I really do because I think it's critically important from this point on in history. I just feel it in my soul. And the first thing I would ask you to think about is, why are you here tonight? I mean, your time, my time is the most valuable asset that we have. And some of you think, well, Dale, I'm here because I'm a member of the CMG iHub team and I'm a member of iHub and that's why I'm here. But why are you really here? I mean, why are you really here? Your time is the most valuable asset I've had that we have. Why are you still here? Uh, and we've seen, how many people have we seen come and disrupt and talk till we're all just saying, please shut up, and now they're gone and we'll never see them again. We've seen a ton come and go. Why are you still here? So I have to believe it's because in some way or shape or form, you want to live your very best life in every aspect. And you want to be around people that you can trust and that you believe in. And we have a phenomenal group of people on this team. We just do. And I have to believe that's your ultimate goal, and not just your best life, but authentically. You can be who you are and you can be authentic in that. And nope, we all aren't going to agree on everything. We're going to disagree on some things, but we can look and say that's a good soul, that's a good person, regardless if we disagree in some areas. To pretty much we get along as a team, and that's important because everybody has the right to be who they are and be authentic. For me, everything comes down to throw everything away. Don't take in anything. Don't look at anything. Don't listen to anything. If it's not empowering me personally, physically, mentally, with my family, financially, through career, spiritually, or socially, then I'm not going to listen to it. I don't care. I don't see that special wild green bean growing in your garden. I wouldn't know it from any other kind, and I don't care about your green bean. I don't care about most things. I don't even see it. I don't even comprehend it. It doesn't even compute in my mind. It goes in this ear and out that ear, and it never settles. So everything that I do, and I know I'm weird, but it's all about around this wheel of life. That's it. Everything else, I don't care. I do not care. And I have learned through a lot of focused intention, when I hear something powerful, to get that idea or concept from my head to my heart. I don't let good stuff go in here and out here. I take time. I think about it. And I could give you thousands of examples uh, of this. When I first read I don't even remember the author, but he talks about everybody starts out and they're unconsciously incompetent, and then they move to a point where they're consciously incompetent, and that's when they quit. And if they persist, they will get to a point where they're consciously competent, and down the road, you get to a point where you're just unconsciously competent. It's who you are, it's how you are. You don't have to think about it, you just roll. And again, that was a poor example, but that's one of thousands. Because the first time I heard it, I was at a real estate event in Phoenix, Arizona, and I heard that 4 types of competence, and it was worth everything to hear that. But getting it from my head to my heart has served me well with a lot of key important concepts and ideas. Now I'm going to share with you one of the most profound concepts I've heard this year. It's a life lesson, and it's something that I've talked about, and something that I think all of you say, well, yeah, Dale, I get that. I know that. But it was put in a way that I'll never forget it. And you guys know, and y'all please just bear with me. You guys know I'm a unbelievable Kentucky basketball fan. And some of you remember on the cruise, I was up all night because that's when I heard that Calipari had left Kentucky. And if I hadn't been around the people I was around, I would have, I mean, I woke Dawn up at like 3:30 in the morning and said, "You aren't going to believe what's happened. The Wildcats have fired Calipari." And I was having a nervous breakdown. And because I love this guy. And the reason I love him is because he gets it. He doesn't give a flying flip about me, the fans. He doesn't care about the administration of the school. He said from day one he's a player's coach, and his job is to change families' lives. And when he sits down in the kitchen with that family, he knows that if he does his job right, that family will be set up for the rest of their life. He's a player's coach. That's what he does. His focus is on helping his players get what they want, period. And if the athletic administration doesn't like it, so be it. He does not care. He doesn't care. He could give a flying flip. And Kentucky people don't like that. They don't like that. They I don't want to watch them in the NBA. I want to see, and he understood if he can help them get what they want, then the administration and the fans would get what we want. And that was a message that a lot of fans never got. But I respect him. When they hired Mark Pope, it freaked me out. The guy has never won one game in an NCAA tournament. Not one game ever. And I thought, what are they doing? And I paid a lot of attention to this guy from day one. So he comes back in, and he told the athletic director, he said, a lot of people will tell you why they want this job. He said, but I'm the only one that has lived it as a player. And he lived it. He was number 41, as you guys see there. And he said, I understand what Kentucky fans want. And he is a guy that his whole philosophy is different. He's a Rhodes Scholar. He's very cerebral. He checks on everything. He monitors everything. He tracks everything, and he gets it. I mean, he's put together this team, and the team he's put together this year are all fifth. Most of them are fifth-year seniors, and then a couple of freshmen from the state of Kentucky, which Kentucky people love. But he's put together this team of fifth-year seniors who had another year of eligibility. Some of them were at the NBA camp when he called them. And a lot of these guys that he's put together, it's like this is their last shot. They know it. They have 1 year to fulfill their upside potential, to have a chance at fulfilling their ultimate dream of playing in the NBA. And every one of them understand team. Together, everyone achieves more. In the first 3 games this year, 6 players in all 3 games, a minimum of 6. One game there was 9, have scored in double figures. So there's not one superstar. It's a well-oiled team machine playing together, The last game, there was 39 baskets and they had 30 assists. That means they're passing the ball to other people. They're moving the ball. Nobody's hogging it. Nobody's trying to be the superstar. It's a well-oiled machine team. They don't have the best talent. Make no mistake about it. Arkansas, where Calipari is now, will be the NBA training ground up from this point forward. It won't be Kentucky. Two different philosophies, two different ideas. I love this guy. I'm respecting this guy more and more every time I hear him and every time I listen to him. He's I really am. But he gets for Kentucky, it's all about hanging banners. It's about winning the game, hanging banners in Rupp Arena. You know, all he talks about is number 9. We've got 8 national championships. He's going after 9, and everybody on that team knows it. Everybody on Calipari's team knew it's about getting them to the NBA. His thought process is about hanging a banner in Rupp Arena. That's all he thinks about, because he was the captain of the team the last time they won the NCAA. He played there, number 41. And it's kind of interesting. Their first official game this year, Kentucky won by 41. Kind of magical, really. So that's the first, and I promise this is going to go somewhere. And my point being that we see things not as they are, but we see things as we are, as human beings. So he played there. He wore the jersey. He talks about the jersey. He understands what hanging a banner is. Everybody, coaches, whoever, we all see things not as they are, but we see things as we are. And that's never been more obvious to me than the last 2 months. And for me, it's always about the person in the mirror. And y'all have seen this diagram, many of you, dozens of times. And when I found this book, you know, it's not popular. Most mainstream business people have never heard of the book. Y'all know what it is, Chicken to an Eagle. But when I saw it and I read this for the first time, I'm thinking, there it is, man. I have got to get this. I've got to understand it. I've got to internalize it. I've got to really be able to communicate this, because this is the only way people change. It's the only way they develop new brain cell patterns, because we're all programmed based upon parents, society, the environment in which we were raised, authority figures, preachers, teachers, Cub Scout leaders, etc. And they programmed us about who we were, what we were capable of. And by the time we're 12 years old, we kind of have a vision of what our life can be based upon what everybody's told us. And then we just reinforce that the rest of our life. And we see it all around us, everywhere, every day. And very few people, most people stay stuck in whatever those programmed perceptions are. And if they don't choose to look at things differently, they're going to stay stuck there the rest of their life. Now, this is the thing that I really want to try to communicate tonight, because this is the thing that I really don't think people are understanding. The world is changing faster than our minds can keep up with it. Our minds will not, in 3 or 4 years, everything's moving so quick, so fast. AI, it's moving quicker than we'll ever be able to keep up with, and it already is. And watch what happens in the next few years. And we have to be so aware today that the world is reinforcing our victim mentalities and this feeling like you have no control over your future. You cannot create your best life. You're a victim and somebody needs to take care of you. The world is reinforcing that every single day. And we have to be more intentional when it comes to self-programming and what we allow our minds to take in and accept, and not waste it on foo-foo dust stuff that's not part of the 7 key areas of life. Get rid of all that crap. Your mind doesn't need to have it in it. Stay focused on what will move you and your life forward. And here's the thing that hit me like a ton of bricks. And I hadn't really thought about it, and I woke up thinking about this, because I've taught this 1,000 times. Our program perceptions about life and relationships, who we are influenced by our parents, society, and authority figures. But no longer. Now it's media. It's media. Media is programming the masses. And it's reinforcing people's mental blocks, their victim mentalities, and lack of control for living our best life. It just is. And we have to be aware of that. See, I knew it, but I hadn't really come to this reality of it's the media that's programming people and telling them they can't afford this, they won't be able to do that, and so on. And it's just nonstop. Now, I've talked about this social dilemma multiple times. Y'all have heard me talk about it. I've encouraged you to watch it. And I'm going to do something I normally wouldn't do, but I think it's worth it. And there's like a 2-minute trailer to this, and I just want you guys to see it. And Dawn's going to pull it up and show it for you, and then she's going to pull me right back to these slides, and it's going to go smooth as silk. So I want you to take 2 minutes and watch this, because some of you have heard me talk about it, but you've never taken the time to watch it, and it's just so important from my perspective to move forward in this new world in which we live. You sit down. Oh, you can sit down.
When you go to Google and type in climate change is, you're going to see different results depending on where you live and the particular things that Google knows about your interests.
Can you guys hear that?
That's not by accident. That's a design technique.
What I want people to know is that everything they're doing online is being watched, is being tracked. Every single action you take is carefully monitored and recorded.
A lot of people think Google's just a search box and Facebook's just a place to see what my friends are doing. What they don't realize is there's entire teams of engineers whose job is to use your psychology against you.
I was the co-inventor of the Facebook like button.
I was the president of Pinterest,
Google, Twitter, Instagram.
There were meaningful changes happening around the world because of these platforms. I think we were naive about the flip side of that coin.
We get rewarded by hearts, likes, thumbs up, and we conflate that with value and we conflate it with truth.
A whole generation is more anxious, more depressed.
I always felt like fundamentally it was a force for good. I don't know if I feel that way anymore.
Facebook discovered that they were able to affect real-world behavior and emotions without ever triggering the user's awareness. They are completely clueless.
Fake news spreads 6 times faster than true news. We're being bombarded with rumors.
If everyone's entitled to their own facts, there's really no need for people to come together. In fact, there's really no need for people to interact.
We have less control over who we are and what we really believe.
If you want to control the population of your country, there has never been a tool as effective as Facebook.
We built these things and we have a responsibility to change it. The intention could be, how do we make the world better?
If technology creates mass chaos, loneliness, more polarization, more election hacking, more inability to focus on the real issues, we're toast.
This is checkmate on humanity.
I just want to encourage you guys, if you haven't watched that, please watch it. It's just, in my opinion, it's just so important that we understand what's going on. Let me continue here. There are support groups for every special interest group on the planet who can support each other's dysfunctions. I'm okay, you're okay, which ultimately prevents people from moving forward in their life and getting the help that they need. Because now it doesn't matter how dysfunctional, how radical, it doesn't matter. You can find people that you can hang out with and be part of the tribe. According to a Gallup poll, U.S. depression rates are reaching all-time new highs. This just came out. Mental health is considered an epidemic in the United States and around the world. And I just have to ask, why is this happening? And again, as we just heard, I mean, people are getting programmed without even understanding that they're being programmed. And it's reinforcing this feeling of helplessness and have no control in anything that we do. We have to be aware today, again, that the world reinforces our victim mentalities and lack of control to be able to live our best life. That you can't do it. You have to have this, you have to have that. We have to be more intentional when it comes to our programming and what we allow in our minds. When we slant to out of control, all negativity will magnify in our emotions. We get everything's going out of control and it magnifies. And we're just, you look at most people, they're just bound by mental chains. And again, if you allow anything that's not supporting you and helping you move forward physically, mentally, with your family, financially, with your career, spiritually, or socially, why are you putting that stuff in your mind? If I'm watching and reading or listening to something that's not supporting one of those 7 key areas in my life, I always stop myself and say, Dale, what are you doing? Cancel. This is not helping you in any way, shape, or form. Forget it. Get out of it. And a lot of times it just makes no sense. It has somehow become politically correct to support the rights of an individual at the expense of everybody else. Even when the individual is obviously mentally off or needs professional help and support. Everybody seems to be looking for a reason to be offended so they can be part of somebody's victim club. And personal responsibility is just a foreign idea today. It's easily defined toxic codependency support groups that justify our lack of self-discipline, laziness, victim mentalities, and antisocial behavior. And I'm not talking about you guys as entrepreneurs, but I'm talking about being aware of the world that we're living in and what's around us every day. I mean, I couldn't believe that there's now these fat positive groups. People are celebrating being obese. And the world is actually they're all over the world, and they support obesity, and ultimately what are they supporting? Poor health. I mean, it just blows my mind that these groups even exist. According to World Journal of Psychiatry, face tattoos are signs of psychiatric disorders such as antisocial personality disorder, drug or alcohol abuse, and borderline personality disorder. These people don't need support groups to encourage each other's dysfunctions. They need professional help. And they're not going to get it because they can find other people that think, oh, this is normal it's normal for all of us. They're not going to get the help they need. They're not going to come out of it because they have tribes that they can hang out with of people that are as dysfunctional as they are. And I don't care. I mean, I don't want this dude that thinks he's a girl playing against my granddaughter in basketball. Under any circumstances, somebody's going to get hurt. All the special interest support groups in the world will not make that which is wrong right. All the special support groups in the world is not going to make that which is wrong right. The best decision I made in January, because I've kind of been in this world to some degree, paying too much attention for a long time. And the best decision I made in January of this year was to stop watching all news and stay off social media except to support team members and my marketing efforts. That's it. Support team members, marketing efforts. Other than that, I'm staying off social media. And just come to the reality that it's hard for me to believe that the world has gotten to this place. But BlackRock controls all the banks, all the media, the pharmaceutical industry, and every other industry out there. and the swamp and everybody in it. They're pulling the strings. They're and you watch, it's so fascinating, and it's like and I never watch the news except when I'm in Kentucky because my mom and dad are glued to it. And it's like they'll watch something, and I'll say, now some big news thing comes out, and I said, I'll put it on the other channel, and you're going to hear exactly the opposite of what you just heard. And these talking points they've been instructed. These are our talking points because every news channel you go on is saying the exact same thing in the exact same order. And to not understand this is we just have to. So this year's been very disruptive for me, probably the most disruptive year of my life in the last 20 some years. But Dawn and I, and many of you, have remained productive and focused on that which we can control. And you guys, I mean, I'm just proud of you, but it's like when you look at everything going on around you, and people, get on the iHub calls every week and ask the same question they've asked the last 4 weeks so they can have their 10, their 15 seconds of fame. It just it just drives me crazy because we see this dysfunction all around us. And there's no question with iHub this year we've been in a hurry up and wait mode for sure. I think they've really been through it. They're doing all that they can do as quick as they can do, but some things are just out of their control. I can be thankful that Dawn and I have made really good progress selling off multiple web properties. I may reach my goal to get them all sold by the end of the year, but we've sold a ton. I've made very good progress with my personal education in areas that I have high interest in, and building out the CMG Sports Card Investments website. We've got 3,200 items right now listed on eBay. We're probably not going to reach our 10,000 goal this year, but we will next year, and we might this year. Who knows? But not with Hallmark. We're keeping up with Hallmark. We're burning the candle at both ends. This is our busiest time of the year, Dawn, especially with Hallmark. We're taking loads to the post office, and it's crazy. It's always crazy this time of the year with that. Throughout the year, this year, I've been able to cancel pretty well. And I've rarely thought about that, which I couldn't control. And I've just tried my very best to focus on that I could, but it's been extremely difficult. I had an important follow-up appointment with doctors in Florida sometimes towards the end of the year. Some of you know I had that last week and it went perfect, clean bill of health. So thankful for that. But, every time I was around my sister, she was talking about it. And last time she said, now, your appointment is on this date and this date, right? I said, Christy, I have no idea. I have no idea when it is. I don't know. I don't care. It's nothing. I know I'm going sometimes towards the end of the year. And that's been my mentality around that. I haven't let it, overwhelm me. Our team has millions of dollars in ERC commissions that we're waiting for the IRS on. About $750,000 Dawn and I are waiting for in commissions, but it never enters my mind. I just don't care. There's nothing I can do about it. It's going to be whatever it's going to be. I don't care. I can't do anything about it. The Bitcoin halving and the ETF happened. When in the world is the bull market coming? I could have been dwelling on that. Well, for the record, it's finally here. Just so you know, it's here. It's definitely here. But I could have dwelled on that. I haven't. My granddaughter's going to be playing college 12 hours away from me next year. What am I going to do about that? Am I going to have to get a private plane to take me to Chicago, what am I going to do? And the presidential election was a blip to me. I mean, my initial thought is, hey, this is easy. Where was the country 4 years ago? Where is it today? Everybody goes to the gas station, grocery store, nothing to worry about. That was my thought. And again, I got out of all that, following all this. I don't want to know. And then after the debate at the end of June, my thought was, well, it's definitely over because everybody can now see the cognitive decline that many of us were already aware of. So it's done. And then, I was actually watching that debate at my parents', and I said, just turn it over to another channel. And they were talking about how Biden had won and how great he was. And it's like, were they even watching the same thing that we were all sitting here watching? It really blew their mind. I knew what they were going to be saying. And I said, now put it on the next channel. And it's the same thing. It's like it was more than obvious to any common sense person with a neutral mentality what just happened. And it was amazing to me that 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 people see things not as they are, they see things as they are. It was just amazing to me. And I'm going to get political here for a minute, so I apologize. But then in August, after Harris was appointed the Democrat presidential nominee, I thought, well, all's good. Because people, common sense people, will ask themselves, how did she do as the borders are? Seeing how first 3 years she never went there, and we had more illegals come in the country in the last 3 years than we did the previous 30. I mean, this is simple. And then on September 3rd, after the debate, I got concerned for the first time. And we had a family function right after that. In my opinion, she kicked his butt. She walked up, she shook his hand, and it threw him off immediately. And she was so well rehearsed. She had political announcement after political announcement after political announcement memorized. She was very well rehearsed, and see, when I say she kicked his butt, not to me, but to the masses watching, and that's in my mind, to the masses, people watching it, people that are not deep, people that are headline readers, she kicked his butt, was my opinion. And I got in arguments at my house about that with family members because, oh no, yes she did. She kicked his butt. And my only concern was, are people going to look behind the curtain and really understand what's happening, or have they been so indoctrinated that they won't? And it was concerning to me, very concerning. Will people look behind the curtain or will they not? And then but I'm not getting into it. This is not my thing. I'm avoiding it like the plague. And then in October, I couldn't even watch the World Series. I couldn't go on the podcasts that I listen to or the YouTube channels that I follow without a constant barrage of political commercials that just made me want to throw up. And I admit it, I fell down the political rabbit hole big time. I reverted. I fell off the wagon big time. And, I take pride. I believe I have an abnormal focus. I've always taken pride in my learned ability to be able to make the very best of every day and only focus on things that I control in my life and it's going to be positive for my life and my business, my family, and the 7 key areas, and let everything else go. I take pride in that. But this is what happened to me. And this is how I felt the last 2 months. And I haven't felt this way in years. It's just like everything is just spinning and spinning and nothing makes any sense. And when a person can get up and it can be documented 1,000 different ways that this is not what was said and was not what happened. And we even have video, and people just, it was just mind numbing to me. And it's like, I'm trying to stay on top of it. And like this person over here, and it disturbed me at a level that I didn't think I could be disturbed. And then I realized, that a lot of entrepreneurs, because I go back to when I first started and trying to get some direction, and I understood finally that you've got to get stuff from your head to your heart that you can live out every day. You can't just hear something good. You can't listen to Zig Ziglar for the entertainment value. You have to understand what he said. You are where you are in your life because of what's gone into your mind. And the only way, not one way, or this could work or that could, the only way to change where you are is to change what goes into your mind. And you got to keep going. You got to keep shooting. The only difference between a big shot and a little shot's a big shot's a little shot that kept on shooting. And you understand, Dale, what the mind can conceive and believe it can achieve. And you got to stay focused there. And that's in my beginning. It reminded me of my beginning entrepreneur days, the last couple of months. And for me personally, it's time for a reset. And I don't know if it is for you or not, but if it is, this is probably a good time to do it. I've been telling Dawn for 2 months, after we get to Florida and come home, I'm going to reset. And that's the word I've been using. Just stay with me, because I'm not, I sleep 2 hours, get up for 6, sleep 3 hours, get up for 9. I've been all over the place, radical. And I told her, look, after Florida, I'm going to reset. And yesterday, my middle daughter, Channing, called me, and she was on her way she had some appointments scheduled at her office. And I said, how you doing? She said, I'm doing great. She said, Mike told me that you're going to be in a great mood this week. She said, you're always in a great mood, but he said you're going to be in a super great mood this week, and I ought to touch base with you, so I'm calling you on my way to work. And I said, well, Mike's smart, but why did you think I would be in a great mood? She said, because you got a clean bill of health, Trump won, and crypto's exploded. And I said, so, well, you got a pretty smart husband. So we had a great conversation. So in the beginning of my entrepreneur career, my emotions dictated my action, or probably more important, my lack of action. Oh, they aren't going to be interested. Oh, I don't know what to say when I pick up the phone. They're going to know I'm reading a script when I call. All this crap that bogs everybody down. And my emotions dictated everything in the beginning of my entrepreneur career. And then I learned how to stop, take a breath, and reset every 90 days or so. Just stop, reset. I was an emotional yo-yo the first couple of years of my entrepreneur career, up and down and down and up and sideways. And I'd go to an event in Indianapolis, Indiana, and I'd get up and I'd drive all the way up to Indiana, and I'd go to this event, and I would be so fired up. I was hanging from the chandelier, fired up, excited, and I'd go back home, and I had no upline, but I'd go out there and I'd set some appointments, and within 2 or 3 weeks, I was right back to where I was, emotional yo-yo, up and down and up. And then I learned stop, regroup every 90 days or so. Then over time, everything that knocked me off path and took away my focus, I learned to cancel it out, and eliminate it. And I learned that everything starts with self-talk, goals, and time management. And if you get those 3 things right and you do it consistently, nobody can stop you, because most people can never get to that point. Most people can never get to the point. They just don't stay with it long enough. And everything is a fear or a distraction until it's not. Everything. And then one day you wake up, that used to bother me. It doesn't bother me anymore. That doesn't bother me anymore. I don't care about this. That doesn't matter. This doesn't matter. And it really brought me back to my beginning early years of being an entrepreneur, because I was just so overwhelmed. It's like I couldn't believe the tizzy that I went into. the last couple of months. So for me, it's like I got to get back in a rhythm, back in a routine, get to smooth selling again. And no entrepreneur should live this way, yet many do. Many spend their entire career. They've been doing this 5, 10, 15, 20 years. They've been an entrepreneur and they're still an emotional yo-yo. And it comes down to daggone it, decide, do not be denied, and go for it and give it all you've got every single day. That's what it takes, no matter what you're doing. And remember that lack of progress is unacceptable, period. Lack of progress is unacceptable, period. You've got to be true to yourself. This is not a place for people to come out and play entrepreneur and have their business card that they can show their relatives on Thanksgiving dinner. And show them, I'm in business, here's my business card. That's not what we're about. Never have been, never will be. And we run off people because of that. But I believe that it's just as important to keep the right people as it is to run off the wrong ones. But you've got to be true to yourself, and you've got to run when you can run. Because there's so many good people that if they'd had the right information and the right people around them, could have made it, that don't. They don't make it. And I'll just share with you a quick example. I saw this today. I don't know who this young lady is, but she joined Prime America, it looks like in August 28th of this year. And she has an ad here on social media. And she's part of the Entrepreneurs of Atlanta. So I was posting an ad, and this one happened to catch my eye. And look at the date, August 28th. 3 months later, this was this morning. This was what I saw on social media. Oh, sorry. I'm trying to. Hello, Atlanta. I'm looking for a job. I'm getting evicted. So I am urgent need of finding work. I do please ask if you know anyone or anything hiring, please let me know as soon as possible. That's heartbreaking to me. It's just heartbreaking. Mainly because whoever recruited her here probably told her she could make a full-time income within 90 days. And I don't care who you are, Prime America is not an easy business. It takes skills. It takes time to develop those skill sets and mindsets. And I see so many great people that they just don't accept reality in the way it is. And then this happens, and then they'll never return. After she gets her job, she'll never look at any entrepreneur endeavor probably ever again. And it's sad to me. So if you need to reset, don't wait. Do it now. And that's really what I wanted to share tonight, guys. Everything's changing. It's moving quick. Hopefully Tuesday we'll be ready to go. Hopefully. But I'm not dependent upon any of it. You shouldn't depend upon any of it. It's like control what you control, do what you can do. And having an unproductive month is unacceptable, period. Because you can never get it back. You can never get it back. So that's all I wanted to say. Let me stop recording.